Help me grow, fast or slow, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Help me learn, soft or stern, as long as I know you're digging for gold. Life's a movie, the ultimate trip. You should have been told you'd be digging for gold. Hello once again, my friends. Welcome to Digging for Gold, episode number 24. I'm Dan Goldberg, as you know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. All our podcasts, both audio and video, the links are on my website, dangoldberg.com, at the bottom. Just check through for YouTube, Spotify, and all the other audio podcast platforms, and of course Instagram, TikTok, and so forth. Today, not only is this young man, I call him young man, and I'll tell you why, a good friend, but he's a second generation friend, because I'm good friends with his father, and now I'm good friends with the son. Welcome to Digging for Gold, Andy Langsam. Andy is the founder, and I guess you're the CEO, right?
Founder and CEO.
Yeah, of Dynamic Advertising Solutions. And Andy has a very interesting story, how he went from a college student, hanging out, bringing people to bars and stuff, to turning that into a pretty big and successful company. Am I right about that, Andy?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, I've been really fortunate. I've had some really nice success. I think success is a journey, and so we are experiencing a lot of amazing things along the way. Not just success individually with me, but
Right.
Success around the team that we've created, and everybody that's on for the ride.
And
Yeah.
Andy also comes and speaks in my classes. He's hired a number of my students as both interns and full-time employees. He's based in the Philadelphia area. So, you know, if you're listening to us in a different country or a different state, it's in Philly, but his clients are all over the world, correct?
Correct. All over the world. Yes.
So how did you get started?
So, Dynamic Advertising Solutions was born in my senior year at American University in Washington, D.C. I was a senior in college trying to figure out what I was going to do when I grow up. And, all throughout my college life, I got involved in nightlife promotions. So, as soon as I got there freshman year, going out to the nightclubs was really new to me, and it was really intriguing, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So it started out going out for fun, and it turned into a business for me. And by senior year in college, I had an incredible team of people working with me. We had representation on over a dozen college campuses, and we started taking on sponsors. So our first, yeah.
Let me, I'm sorry interrupting,
Yeah.
but what is it exactly that you did in the nightlife business?
So what I did is I would go to venues that were very slow on a specific night. Let's say there was a bar that didn't have a very good Friday night crowd. I would go to the bar owner and I would say, listen, let me bring some college kids, 21 and over kids, to your venue on Friday night. I'll recruit everybody. I'll charge a cover charge at the door, but you'll keep all the funds at the bar. And so we started doing that, and we started bringing a lot of celebrity guests. So we had people like DJ Scribble from MTV. We had the Laguna Beach cast members at the time. They were really popular. We had several other big name talent individuals, and we would bring them in, we would promote the specific event, we would charge a cover at the door, and people got to hang out and party with these celebrities. So it was a really, really great, fun time. And, at the end of my promotion career, I was doing 4 events a week. I was doing Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And it was really interesting. And unfortunately, and fortunately, when you are in that industry, the path forward is either you go into owning a nightclub, or restaurant, or going into some other marketing direction. And I chose the marketing direction more for the lifestyle. You know, I didn't want to be on nights and weekends. I wanted my time for myself. So that was really kind of how I started a nightclub promotion, and then that kind of parlayed into DAS.
Well, when did you do your homework?
When did I do my homework? Yeah, that's a really good question.
I've never asked you that before.
You know, fortunately, I was really good with managing my time, so I was able to get things done periodically. But you know, in some of that time, you know, between managing a social schedule, hanging out with friends, and doing all the nightclub promotions, you know, I was able to get all my work complete. But it is funny because when it came time to graduate from American University, and I wasn't 100% certain on what I was going to do, you know, I was a little nervous about breaking out into the free world. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to think about applying to grad school. So let me take my GMATs. So I thought I could take my GMATs in the same fashion that I got through AU, and my GMATs told me otherwise. They said you're not going to grad school. And so I said, all right, you know, that told me where I was going, and I said, all right, so what are my options? You know, get a job or go out on my own.
Yeah, the GMATs do have a tendency to tell people not to come. We don't want you, but good luck.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did you get sponsors? How'd that work?
So, I say back then, like it was so long ago, but I mean, I feel like, you know, 20 years ago was a pretty significant time ago.
Yeah.
And there wasn't social media. So if any large national brands wanted to market to an 18 to 22-year-old crowd, this was really their way in, was being in the same place where these individuals are to get some of their attention. You know,
right.
So if you want to be there, you need to get involved and run some promotions. And whether you're, you know, Heineken trying to sell beer and get people engaged with their brand, or you're a company like Lovesack, which started out selling beanbag chairs and turned into like a real furniture store right now that sells sectional couches. You know, if you wanted to be in front of that demographic, you needed to spend money and show up. We had airlines that were sponsoring us. We had a lot of really great sponsors.
Did they come to you, or did you go to them?
A lot of them found me. In the beginning, the way I got my first sponsor was I met the sales rep from Red Bull. And the sales rep from Red Bull was like, oh, you're doing events. This is really cool. Hey, let's promote Red Bull and vodka drinks, and let's promote Red Bull. I'll give you a bunch of free cases. You can give them to the bar and just do some drink specials. I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And then from him, he introduced me to his friend from Heineken, and then just word got out that we were doing these great events. And on any given night, like even on a smaller event like a Tuesday night, we had 300 to 400 people on a Tuesday night.
Wow, that's pretty good.
To thousands of people on Fridays and Saturdays.
And you did this on your own?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Have flyers put together?
Yeah. So when I started at AU, I got connected with a larger nightlife promotion group in the city. And I started passing out flyers for them. And I had a big break the second half of my freshman year where I was able to do an event, and I brought out over 500 kids from American University. And so I used to get paid $3 a pass, $3 per person for everybody that I brought out to these events. And at the end of the night, I mean, I was really excited. I was going to collect my $1,500 from the event. And the guy that I was working with, who I had trusted, came to me and said, listen, you're a young college kid. You don't need $1,500. I'm giving you $500. And I said, what do you mean? I said, that's not our deal. I said, you've been paying me $3 a pass. You know our deal. And after that situation, you know, I could have made a choice. I could have fought. I could have fought in that instance for what was rightly owed to me, or I could learn who his true colors were, continue to learn the systems, and then break out on my own. And so ultimately that's what I did. Is I learned how he was doing business. I learned how he was setting up his relationships. I went to those venues and had good relationships with those venues. So eventually I went out on my own.
Smart move. By the way, as you were saying AU, this is just a coincidence, friends, but AU on the periodic table, you know what it stands for? Gold. And you're on Digging for Gold, and it's AU. It's amazing. Isn't it, Alex? Alex is there behind the camera and doing what he normally does, unless he's in front of the camera. And so he shook his head yes.
Yeah.
So we're digging for gold at AU.
Maybe we'll get me a mic sometime, but
Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we will. All right. So anyway,
Yeah.
So you start doing this nightlife stuff.
Yeah, and I start bringing on sponsors, and then all of a sudden the sponsors started asking me to help them find different promotional items to help promote their brands at the events.
Now it's all coalescing.
Yeah, and so in order to, obviously we're helping them connect with the demographic, but we want to create more value for these individuals. And so the way we're creating more value is we're helping them to source these items. So it's one less thing on their plate. So they would come to us for shirts and blinky buttons and bottle openers and all these various items, and we would make their lives easier. And we found out that there was a really solid need for these types of items in this space, and we could do it well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's funny, I'm looking out the window here and I'm seeing, one of the students out there sitting on what looks to be a love sack.
Yeah.
Looks like one of the two-person love sacks sitting out there.
Probably isn't, but he's taking up the space for two people.
He is.
Yeah, in the waiting room, as we say. But
Yeah.
some people call it the green room, but it's actually gray. So, okay, so now you got this thing and you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I could do this forever, or what? When did it say, like, tell me when you go from the blinky button shirt bottle opener thing, and I guess they did T-shirts too, right?
Yep. Yeah, they did a bunch of promotional items, and this is senior year, and one of my partners that I've worked with, who is still a really dear friend of mine, very close with him, his cousin was in the promotional product business.
And promotional products is, if people don't know. Okay.
Promotional products is anything with a company name on it. It can be T-shirts, hats, mugs, anything that you can use for a promotional event, even print collateral or signage can be considered promotional materials. So he introduces me to his cousin, and she said to me, why don't you come out to one of the promotional product shows in Las Vegas? You can come in under my company name, and you can learn about the industry.
Huh.
So I fly out to Vegas with my buddy, and we walk the show floor. And back then, in order to share products, they gave out catalogs. And I literally came back with 2 shopping bags full of catalogs, probably about 30 pounds in each bag. And got back to my college apartment, sat down with my roommate, dumped the catalogs on the floor, and I said, look at all this cool stuff. I said, I think this is going to be our future.
And then what happened? What's the next thing?
And then we decided we needed to incorporate the company.
Smart.
So we created we officially incorporated in February of 2003. We didn't really start operating the company until May because we didn't graduate college then.
Right.
And my college roommate was a partner at the time. And, we said, hey, look, we love promotional products. We love marketing. Let's try and be all things marketing. Let's write proposals. Let's do presentations. Let's do graphic design services. This is great. Well, one of the things that I didn't share earlier is when we did the sponsorships, one of our big sponsors wrote us a check for $80,000.
Wow. And it cashed too, didn't it?
And it cleared, which was very impressive. And so as a college kid holding a check for $80,000, I mean, that was nearly the amount of my tuition, at American University for my 4 years there.
Wow.
And so I'm sitting here holding this check made out to me, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I can put this in the bank and get a job, or I can use this as my seed capital. So when I started DAS, I thought I was on top of the world. I'm like, listen, I got 80 grand in the bank. I got my credit card. Like we're in good shape. I hired a graphic designer. I hired another friend from college to create proposals, and we were doing experiential marketing. We were doing all these things, except we really didn't know what we were doing. We didn't really know who we were. We really didn't have a good identity. We just knew that we wanted to be all things marketing.
Wow. So what was the spark that changed that?
The spark that changed that is as we began to provide different services, let's say website design. Actually, let's start with brochure design, because that was one of the first big things that we did. When you start designing things like brochures and websites, a lot of that design work is subjective. You know, we're trying to design according to the customer's taste. So if somebody comes to us and they say, hey, listen, I want this brochure to be designed, and you tell them, hey, listen, it's going to take 10 hours to do that, and it's going to be $1,000. They're like, okay, great, let's move forward. Well, all of a sudden, you do your 10 hours, and you give them the product, like, well, I don't like this, I don't like that, we got to change this, I got to change that. Well, what do you tell the client? Hey, by the way, we designed this for you. You're not happy with what we designed. You got to pay more. Well, they're not happy. So all of a sudden you're like, well, we got to take care of the customer. The customer's always right. We want to make it right.
Yep.
And next thing you know, we thought we were making $100 an hour, but now instead of having 10 hours in this project, we have 25 hours in this project. And we didn't charge any more money. Because
Stinks.
Yeah. So it's really hard. So we learned a really valuable lesson from that point, that was a very difficult way to do business. Now, large agencies, they charge you for that.
Correct.
But when you're dealing with small, and when you have bigger companies, they understand that if you're working with them. But if you're working with smaller businesses, they don't understand that your time is valuable and you need to pay for overhead and you have other expenses. So they just expect you to make them happy and do it for free.
Time is finite. It will run out for everybody, and it's the most valuable thing we have. So
Correct.
Yeah.
And when you were doing projects like that, it felt like it was a race to the lowest possible wages, because you're just trying to satisfy the customer was very difficult. And then we started doing these other proposals that we created, and one of our customers said, listen, I want you to create these proposals for us, and I want you to print them for me. I want you to print them 4-color process proposals. They were spiral bound. It was like 30 pages, color pages. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's a really big deal. If we go to Kinko's is going to charge $3,000 to print these things. So you know what? I'm just going to take that $3,000 and I'm going to buy a color laser printer, and I'm going to use this color laser printer to do everything, and I'll just put the inks in there. And I thought I was really clever. I was like, you know what? I know what I'm doing here. This is great. Well, we start printing these things. We get through like the first, 30 copies, and we're getting notifications on our printer that the toner's low. And I'm like, how could that be? So I'm like, oh, we need to order more toner. Oh my God, the toner for this thing's $1,000. $1,000 to replace the toners. We put the new toners in. We barely get through the end of that brochure. We barely got through that. So here we are. We spent all this money on toner, used up all this paper, spent all this time putting this stuff together. We lost money. Thinking we could do things cheaper.
Yeah, it's easy to lose money.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
That I've learned. If you want to lose money, it's easy to do.
So obviously it sounds like you don't do that anymore.
No.
Okay. You don't do brochures. You don't do the logos, all that stuff.
Well,
you do the logos.
We do logos, and we do brochures.
Right.
But what we like to do now is we don't want to replace an ad agency for our clients. Fortunately, over time, our clients have grown to a larger scale. So we're dealing with, some really big national brands that are familiar and comfortable paying for design services.
Right.
They understand what it costs now. So we're not going to replace their agency, but if they need us to create a brochure from something else, like maybe they have a booklet with an existing design that's 5 pages and they need something simple like a trifold, we can take the content, we can take some of the images, we can streamline that and create a simple design product for them to make their lives easier, so they don't have to go back to their agency and wait a month to have them create that. So we still do design and we still do logos. It's not our primary business.
I didn't know that you still did that.
Yes.
But I know what your primary business is.
Yes.
And I think it'd be interesting for people to understand that. What is your basic business? What is the primary business that you guys do?
Well, so if we were talking, a decade ago, obviously I would say that we sell promotional products, but we really don't sell promotional products anymore. What we really sell is a service that allows our customers to streamline the production, warehousing, and fulfillment of all their branded goods. The promotional product is just the widget that we do for our client,
Right.
but we want to help our clients with multiple locations, like a franchise with 50 to 100 locations. We want to help them create a streamlined approach where you get brand consistency, economies of scale, on-time delivery by producing all these items for them and then bringing them into our warehouse in Philadelphia and drop shipping. So now our business model has changed significantly to more of a service-based, value-driven type of model. Well, the widget is still the promotional product.
Yeah, so you're much more vertically integrated.
Correct.
Okay, and you're a fulfillment house.
And we're a fulfillment house. That's exactly right. Because we've realized it's difficult for us to compete on some of the online brands where you want to go order 500 pens. They'll advertise 500 pens, with a 10% profit margin because they're just trying to grab business and drive revenue.
Right.
For us, that's not a good business model for us. That's a race to the bottom. We don't want a customer that comes in and says, hey, can you beat this price?
Right.
That's not a customer for us. A customer for us that says, hey, I have an event coming up. This is my budget. Can you present me with a couple ideas that will reach our target demographic of 18 to 24-year-olds and really get them excited about our product? When they deliver that information to us, we then in turn will turn around and provide a proposal with a variety of items that speak to that demographic.
That's pretty cool. So tell me about what kind of items you do. Tell our audience.
So, if you're at a trade show event, and you are trying to, garner people's attention, and you are giving away promotional materials, we can create a completely custom, string bag. And so you've seen inexpensive ones where it's a very flimsy material, it's really thin ropes on there. We can take that item and customize it overseas and give you a really high quality bag at the same price as that really inexpensive string bag that you would get domestically. So you get to customize it.
Right.
You can put your logo on there. You can create a custom bag color. You can put a custom logo color on there. We can add zipper pockets on there. We can completely make it yours to represent you and your brand at a reasonable price. And now
That's
if we
pretty
know
cool.
you have 50 events coming up with 1,000 people at each event, we can split it up and we can make 2 big orders so you get economies of scale instead of going to one of the online stores and ordering 1,000 bags every time you have an event.
Right. So let's say I own a clothing brand.
Yes.
Okay. And I say, Andy, we want to have you do special things for us, okay? A keychain or a bag or hats or whatever it is,
Yeah.
okay? And we're going to be in 17 cities. We figured there'll be 500 people at each one because we're going to be in department stores. So if it's 17 cities times 500, that's almost, let's see, 5,000, almost 10,000, okay,
Yeah.
people. So, and then we may put some in reserve because we may do 3 other things. What's the process? I call you and I say, and you sort of explained it,
Yeah.
okay? But what's the process you go through?
Sure. Well, you say, hey, listen, this is my event. These are my ideas of what I had in mind to produce. And we'll share a couple things that we have already done in the past and say, do you like this idea, this concept?
Right.
And once we have an idea of the specific concept that you're looking for, we'll customize it. So maybe you actually want to do a die-cut leather keychain, really unique, with a foil stamp or a deboss on there. We'll create a mock-up, we'll design it, we'll lay it out for you, and then we'll show you, hey, listen, if we place small orders of these, this is your price. If we place a bulk order of these, this is your price. Now, if you order the bulk order, your price per piece is going to be lower, but you're going to pay more up front. But the benefit of doing that is you have them in inventory. So when you need them, the 90% of the items, when you place an order or you request something, leave our warehouse same day. We guarantee that things will ship from our warehouse in 48 hours. So,
Wow.
so if you are placing that bulk order and we ship it
Right.
and you have an event, we don't need a tremendous amount of notice to get it out the door. But guess what? We ship at UPS. UPS misplaces your package. FedEx misplaces your package. That happens, I don't want to say all the time, but quite frequently. What do you do there if you just ordered that from one of the online places? They can't print something new for you and get it to your door.
Right.
But if we have it in inventory, we literally grab another set, we drop ship it, and we make sure you get it on time. Now, we send you 500 pieces,
Right.
but you only use 250 pieces. What are you going to do with the other 250 pieces? You're going to schlep them home with you? You're going to carry a huge box around with all these things? No. We're going to provide a return label for you. So you literally slap the return label on the box. You drop it off at the closest UPS store. If you're at a convention center, they have their own UPS pickup locations at the center. You drop it off there. They ship it back to us, and we re-inventory all your product. We want to
pretty
make
cool.
life easy.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's funny because when I first started Four Eyes, one of our first ads said, "We make it easy." That's it. You come in, it's easy. We didn't charge extra for anything, but
Yeah.
back then, this is 800 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was still old, but anyway, okay. So you have that. Now let me go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. When you started this company, this is for all of you would-be entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs, or just people who like to hear stories about successful people. You had some bumps, didn't you, in the road?
I mean, bumps would be to say it lightly. I mean, that was, there were probably dozens of times where I felt like giving up. There were dozens of times where, I felt like, I was spinning my wheels and wasn't getting ahead. And, and then there were times too where I had a lot of self-doubt because, and I don't want to say shame. I don't think shame is a good word.
Right.
But I had friends that went out and started businesses and created things from scratch. And, they had the, they had the motivation to create something new, and some of them failed multiple times. But that was incredible that they had ideas and they went after them. And I almost kind of felt like I took the easy way out because I knew everybody needed, if you were in business, you needed promotional products. You needed something that I made, whether it was business cards, letterhead, envelopes, whatever it was. If you were in business, you needed something that I produced, and I just needed to build that relationship.
Right.
But I thought it was going to be a lot easier when I started. So really, I worked for free for the first 3 years of business. I worked for free. While everybody else got paid in my organization, I worked for free.
It's an entrepreneur's trek, because I did the same thing initially when I started my companies, and because you're putting in your time and or your money, but you know that your staff has to get paid, and this happened to me, if you pay yourself, everybody else's check may bounce. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I remember a story you and I discussed where you were not eating what everybody else was eating. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I was in a situation where, I was really fortunate to have amazing parents. And I know if they knew the truth behind what was going on, they probably would have stepped in and wanted to help me. But, when I wasn't making any money, it got to a point where, money was so tight. I was literally taking a water bottle from my office, filling it up with water from the water fountain there, and going to 7-Eleven and buying 2 hot dogs for $2. And that would be my lunch. And my girlfriend at the time was using her student loan dollars to buy me groceries and put groceries in my fridge. It was humbling, to be in a position where somebody else was kind of taking care of me,
Yeah.
and that was very challenging. It was very hard for me.
And this is not atypical of entrepreneurs. Every entrepreneur's story is unique, but everybody thinks that what they're going to do is going to just take off.
Yeah.
But it takes a while. It takes diligence. It takes a certain stick-to-itiveness, if I can use that term, and not giving up on yourself. If it is to be, it's up to me, as my friend Sid Friedman used to say. And to me, you have to put in the time. You have to put in the energy, and you have to put in the money.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take pain, and it's going to take angst, and it's going to take doubt. But ultimately, it has to take motivation.
Yeah, certainly.
So where are you now?
Well, now we're coming up on 23 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty wild, actually. Yeah, coming up on 23 years. And, we have over 50 employees. We have a 35,000 square foot warehouse in East Falls. We have our headquarters in Philadelphia. We have an office in Arlington, Virginia. We are very fortunate with our partnership with you and the students that we get to speak to in your classes. And we're very fortunate with the students that you've introduced to us that have taken opportunities with us, that have excelled. And we're growing. I mean, every year, we've been steadily growing, and that's because we believe in what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We do a great job. We take pride in it, and we are bringing in quality talent that want to be part of something bigger. Honestly, just
Yeah, and the people who work for you are they're entrepreneurs. I mean, they basically run their own little business within your business.
That is correct. Yes, they are running their own businesses. They're leveraging our tools and our resources, our relationships, and they're using that to grow their book of business and create a quality life for themselves.
Yeah. Yes, and I know a number of them. They were my students, as you said. You also, I know this, you've brought this up to me and spoke about this. When COVID hit, you were able to pivot.
So we were really, really, really fortunate. When COVID hit, you know how there's a lot of traumatic things that happen in your life that stand out in your life where you can kind of remember crystal clear, like the minute those things happened. And when COVID hit, I had an executive team meeting because 90% of our business literally disappeared overnight. I mean, we went, we literally lost 90% of our business. I think it was the month of March, or the month of April. I believe it was the month of March, and it was the end of March.
Wow.
It was the end of March where I had my executive team meeting, and I'm like, guys, listen, business just completely dropped off here. We may need to make some drastic changes if this is what's going to happen. We may need to look at laying people off, and that was hard because we only had to do that one other time. Mm-hmm. We had to go through a round of layoffs in 2013 where we had people that we had just literally given performance awards to, and we had to lay those people off because we just didn't have the revenue coming in. We didn't have the dollars coming in and the resources to carry the debt at that time during that dip. So this was a very emotional time for us. And we said, what can we do? And one of my sales reps had said to me, who's also, one of my right-hand men, said to me, hey, people are calling us, asking us for face masks and things like that. Can we get those items? I said, that's really interesting. I said, why don't we look into that? And I went to my overseas manager that manages all of our import products, and I said, do you have access to the factories to start getting us these 3-ply face masks? And, she got back to me right away, and she said, yes. She's like, I have a lot of different factories with all the certifications. We can get you whatever you need. So we started sharing on social media and through our sales networks that we had access to not only face masks but also hand sanitizer, and it was like a new business the next day. I mean, once we started advertising that, I mean, we were getting thousands of orders and the tens of thousands of dollars coming in, and it was incredible. During that time, we had our largest order ever that had come in for $1.5 million for masks. And that was a really really big deal. To this day, that is our largest single order for one product that came in, and those were they were certified N95 certified N95 masks that we were able to directly import from overseas and deliver to our client, and went to a client in Brooklyn, New York. And,
wow.
Yeah, it was incredible that we had the ability to do that. And so that year we actually had growth. And the best part about that is we weren't price gouging our customers. There were a lot of people that were selling the stuff that we were selling to for 3 times the price that we were selling it. We even had resellers come to us and we wouldn't sell to them. So we were selling to medical institutions, we were selling to senior living communities, we were selling to the restaurant space. Wow. We were selling to all of these customer facing and high risk places, and because we didn't gouge these people, they came back to us after COVID was over and they became long-term clients of ours.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's just doing the right thing.
Yes, it is. It's caring for people.
Yeah.
It's knowing how to pivot,
Yep.
or recognizing the opportunity to pivot.
Yeah.
Okay. And listening to your employees.
Yeah.
So then all those people, as you just said, became customers. So when you
Correct.
went back to them and you said, we can make this for you, we can make that for you, we can do all these different
Yep.
things. What are the biggest items that you sell? What are the most prevalent items that you sell?
Right now?
Yeah.
So 60%, 50 to 60% of our business is apparel. So screen printing and embroidery, hats, T-shirts, things like that, even, towels. The apparel is really the largest portion of our business. And rep to rep, the things that people sell change. So, if you would ask me, Andy, what is the number one thing you sell 10 years ago? I would have told you print collateral, because I had a lot of pharmaceutical clients. And, we were doing brochures, literally hundreds of thousands of brochures, booklets, types of things that we were selling to pharmaceutical companies that they would then distribute to their networks. So at that point, it would be print collateral. Right now, today, the number one thing that my team is selling is point of purchase displays. So we're very heavily involved in the retail sector, and we're working with national beverage companies to produce displays that they will use in retailers across the country.
You do end caps and things like that?
That is correct. We do cardboard die cut displays. We do metal rack displays, and it just happens to be that's one of the biggest things that our customers need help with at this time.
Huh. It's interesting.
Yeah. So that's me personally. One of my guys in DC is very heavy in the restaurant scene, and right now he's created a lot of really unique bowls and plates that these restaurants are using in their own facilities, like literally these ceramic fired plates that are custom etched and logoed, because these particular restaurants are really looking to make a difference and just create an extra little touch with their customers, just trying to elevate the customer experience.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we're doing a lot of, for those same restaurants, we're also doing a lot of to-go bags. They want a lot of high-end woven handle type to-go bags.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So really it changes from rep to rep,
Yeah.
really, where they're
Yeah.
See, the part that I love about this business is I get to be whoever my customer needs, and I get to spend time in working with customers in businesses and industries that I genuinely like.
Yeah.
I have a rep that loves baseball, played baseball for Temple University.
That's like me. I'm a baseball freak.
Yeah, well, he loves baseball. Didn't take a path into baseball, didn't go that route to work in baseball, but with us he has the ability to sell to minor league baseball teams that he works with, and working with card collecting companies, and so he's actually still involved in a way that suits him really well.
Wait, did you say card?
Yes,
baseball cards.
Baseball
Okay,
card
okay.
collecting company, yeah. And so he's able to be involved and engaged and do what he loves, except now he's on another side providing service. We're not selling people on anything. We're
Right.
providing value. We're creating value
yeah,
for these
it's
individuals.
true.
If I can't create value for you, I'm not going to try and sell you on something. I'm
Right.
going to understand how you do business, and if there's things that I can do to create a better customer experience, I'm going to share them with you.
That's your value proposition,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
It is. So what do you see for the future?
So the future of our business really, again, revolves around helping our customers come up with a creative product mix, producing those items, providing the warehousing and fulfillment side, and just creating efficiency and streamlining, whether it's, again, a franchise with multiple locations or a company that's doing a lot of events. If we can help customers with brand consistency, economies of scale, clear and concise communication, then we're going to continue to be successful. And so that's kind of how we pivoted. From a growth strategy perspective, we're exploring ways to generate new leads using, AI and a variety of different tools to help grow that way. We're actively hiring. We're looking at company acquisitions, and we want to take smaller companies that are familiar with our space. We want to educate them with, about where we're trying to go and creating this larger value proposition, and hoping that we can take some of their existing book and help them grow, and then really redefine how they're doing business. Because the smaller transactional business is going to go away. It's going to go to the
Right.
internet-based.
Of
I
course.
find my product
Yeah,
online.
yeah.
I get it for the cheapest price. Can you match
Yeah.
this price? That's how it's going.
So what industries are you thinking about going into that you're not into now? Or do your people figure that out?
So a lot of our people go into industries that they're interested in,
Right.
things that they really love to do that they can engage in. So again, we have people that are in sports. We have people that are in hospitality. We have people. We have multiple people in hospitality. We work with a lot of big name hotel brands, which is really, really wonderful. But we really allow our reps to make that call.
Go wherever they want.
Yeah.
Like surfing, like
No,
Alex is into.
Exactly, like surfing. We have a guy, one of your old students, loves fishing. Several of his clients are big fishing companies, manufacturers.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is incredible. Automotive.
It's
It's another one.
Yeah, automotive is a great space. There's a lot of things like I have a couple automotive clients. Those are good places for us. Supermarkets.
Okay.
We work with one of the largest supermarket chains in the country.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
interesting.
We started working with, so now the supermarket chain, we do a lot of exterior signage. How did we win them over? Communication.
Right.
They said they cannot stand their existing providers because they have very poor communication skills, and they never know when the status of a project. They have to ask 10 times about the project, and they never know. So we introduce them to our dashboard where they can see all of our internal communication about a project. And so it can be 2:00 at night. They can log in and say, oh, look, these guys sent an email yesterday to the township to see if the permits were approved. They don't even need to ask us. They can literally log in and see full transparency, the status of a particular project. This is approved. It's scheduled to install on this date. They don't even need to ask us.
It's interesting because I was just discussing this with my friends and the students, my students as well. You know what the number one, this is through academic research, the number one skill trait that employers look for in employees, it's soft skills, being able to communicate, being able to work with people, being able to speak with people. It's because the other, AI will never be able to do that.
Yep.
AI will never have that interpersonal connection. It's a great tool, but But people to people is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That's where you build up that client base.
And you create trust. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's true. It's very interesting the lane we're going through as a society, as a world, you know, with advancements. But there's nothing that will ever replace interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
So you have all these, so you make shirts, you do pens, you do hats, you do bags. There's just about nothing that's missing in your array of.
No, we do everything. I mean, we have a client right now. We're doing wrapped refrigerator coolers, little mini refrigerators that are wrapped with their brand. We're doing barrel coolers wrapped with their brand. We are doing tons of LED signs, custom LED signs for these clients. What other custom things are we doing right now? Obviously all of our custom die cut displays that we're putting together. Jeez. We just want to add value by doing really cool stuff.
It's fun.
It is. That is the part that I genuinely enjoy, is being creative and then delivering a quality product to a customer and seeing them light up and really enjoy that. See, in our industry too, there's a lot of customers that, there's a lot of people that don't value the service that we provide. And those people are really not the types of people that we like to do business with.
Sure.
I actually had a customer from a really big franchise brand that we were doing business with, and I was so excited to do work with this company until we started working with one of their senior level individuals. And the tone that this person was taking with my team was extremely offensive. And, I was totally taken back by this person and really upset because my team member was being spoken to in a very unprofessional manner. And I literally had to step in and say, listen, I don't appreciate the way that you're talking to my team member. Please understand something. We don't need your business. We do not need your business. We will not tolerate the way that you're communicating. If you would like to know something, please put it in writing and we'll be happy to respond that way. And this guy came back to me and said, Andy, nobody's ever talked to me that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He said, nobody's ever talked to me that way. He said, nobody's ever threatened that we don't need their business. And I said, if you would hear how you're communicating, you would be embarrassed. You would be embarrassed. It's shameful the way that you're talking to other human beings, demanding things. You are not doing this. You promised you were going to have this. You did not deliver on this. All of the things that you're saying were already addressed when you scroll down in your email and you can see our communication. You just didn't read your emails. I can't help you read your emails.
Right.
You have to read them.
Right.
So, we stand up for our people. At the end of the day, our team, I treat them like our customers. Because if our team is happy with what they're doing and they're feeling appreciated and respected internally with our team, they will then treat our customers that way. And so we're not going to tolerate that.
And you have loyal people, I know that.
We have people that, my two co-founders, they've been with me now for 20 plus years. My right-hand man, who was one of your students at Penn State, he's been with me for over a decade. It's incredible. A lot of our guys have been with us, 7, 8, 9 plus years. A lot of team members. We have, over half our team has been with us over 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for this generation, that's a long time.
It is a very long time.
And you guys have fun, too. I know you have fun.
We certainly try to do things to get people engaged. One of the highlights of, I say my career, but one of the highlights of DAS that I love to look back on is when we took the entire company to Mexico. We set a sales goal, and we achieved that sales goal. COVID hit, so then nobody was going anywhere.
Right.
And then as soon as we were cleared to fly, it was like a year and a half later, we took the entire company to Mexico, which was, it was amazing. It was a really fun
And you brought them back.
And we brought them back, yes. Yes, and we brought them back.
Yeah.
But those are the types of things I like to do. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I want to see my team members enjoying themselves. And I want to grow together.
It's very important. Growth happens for many reasons, but the most important reason is that you care for your people
Yeah.
and you care for your customers.
Yeah.
And once you do that, and you give them a good deal,
Yeah.
right? And if you have those ingredients, sky's the limit, really.
Yeah. Last year was a tough year. Up until last year, we had grown every single year in business. Last year, we started feeling the effects of the economy. And it wasn't our sales team not doing their job because they
Right.
were continuing to grow. But the house accounts, my team and my team members, the main house accounts that we have, those customers were hit really hard. And those budgets were literally slashed in half. And we were scrambling to pick up the pieces there. And at one point, we were down around 18%.
Wow.
And we were able to come back and end that year flat. And during that time frame, I kept on telling my team, over and over again, guys, we're good people. We are working hard. We're doing the right thing. Let's stay focused, and good opportunities will come our way.
There's no doubt.
And we stayed grounded, and we stayed focused. And then, over this past year, we've signed almost a dozen major national contracts.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's that
That's it.
stick-to-itiveness that I was talking about earlier. And for those that don't understand, a house account is a big account that stays within the company. The company is the salesperson.
Correct. It's not a salesperson managed account.
Right. Andy, this has been enlightening. I really want to thank you for this. This is great. For all you would-be entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs who are out there, they're maybe going through some ripples in your business, if you just stick to it, if you listen to Andy's journey and how he went through some tough times, good times, always cared for his people, I know that for a fact, you will be enlightened, and all of a sudden you'll go, I'm going to stay with this. I'm going to build this. I'm going to grow.
Yeah, I realized that every time I hit one of those breaking points and I felt like I wanted to give up, literally the next day I would get a carrot. I would get I'd get a big order, or I'd get something, I'd get an introduction for a great opportunity, and that would help us grow. Every time I literally felt like quitting, something would come to me and pick me up and help me move forward.
It's a beautiful thing.
And it's just literally just encouraging yourself and pushing yourself to take that next step, because literally right around the corner is going to be something that's going to re-energize you to keep you going.
Take that advice, folks. Andy Langsam, DAS, how can they get a hold of you? Where's the company? Where can they find it?
You can find us online at getdas.com, getdas.com.
Andy, thanks so much, man.
Yes.
Take care of yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And folks, don't forget, go to dangoldberg.com, look at all the icons on the bottom, sign up, please subscribe to YouTube, to Spotify, and TikTok. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, and all the other audio platforms. And don't forget, use your mind. If you don't, others will. We'll see you next time on Digging for Gold.